Hello, my fellow speakers. This is Brian, the Speaker for the Dead, coming to you again today with a new video on Alita Battle Angel. I am doing this video for one of my subscribers who was very generous, paid actually for me to rent the video so that I could do a review. And so I appreciate that. And I got to this as quickly as I could so that I could make it worth this person doing that for me. It means a lot to me when somebody asks my opinion, so I appreciate that. And thank you, Kamikaze D, for making this review possible. So Alita Battle Angel. Now, this came out roughly about the same time as Captain Marvel, and I watched it and liked it. I have not seen Captain Marvel, but I know that around this film, there's a lot of furor based on the fact that a lot of people went to support this movie in protest to Captain Marvel. Because one thing I can tell you right off the bat about this film is that Alita is a very well-written female character. There isn't all of this wokeness and stuff that we're getting from so many Hollywood films right now. Alita is a likable character. She is not a perfect character. She is in no way a Mary Sue. She has flaws. She has things she has to overcome. I mean, there's a very good story arc that she goes through. And unfortunately, you can't really say that about some of the other characters in the film, but we'll kind of go through and discuss each one of them as we go along here. So if you haven't seen it, this is Alita Battle Angel. This is the cover, or this was the poster. So it takes place in the future. The future is quite a dystopian future. Just so everybody's aware, there will be spoilers in this in this review. So if you have not seen Alita Battle Angel, shut this off right now and come back when you've had a chance to see the movie. Because I will be giving out spoilers, because that's the only true way to do a movie review. Otherwise, it's just me going, "Yeah, I liked it." So, I did like this film though, but and I'm going to give you my rating right now. So I don't know if that's killing my own thunder here, but I want to give you my rating and then tell you why it got rated that way. I would give this movie 6.5 stars overall, just because of some other things. The character of Alita herself, her story arc, that's a 10. It is very well done, very well acted, very well written. And so for that part of it, it's a 10. But overall, it only gets a 6.5. Now, let me explain that. This movie, I remember about halfway into it, maybe even a little bit before that, having a very been there, done that feel to it. And that it kind of put me off. I felt like I've seen this movie before in another movie. And that's the danger with doing films like this, is you've really got to do something to kind of set yourself apart. You can't really just do the same thing everybody else has been doing in this type of film. Otherwise, you're going to get left with that. Now, having said that, the visuals, the special effects in this are really well done. Very good. And I watched it on a screen, yay big. So there's that aspect to deal with. I was watching this while I was on the road. I was watching it on an iPhone Plus, or 8 or whatever, the bigger iPhone. So I'm sure I missed out on some of the details that I might have seen had I been able to watch this on a larger screen. But overall, it's just really well done. But it feels very been there, done that. And not necessarily from the story, just the feel of the film overall. And I hate to say that about it because it had some really cool elements that you really haven't seen a lot before. I liked the character that played Alita. She does a good job in this. I think it's worth mentioning that she did a good job. Alita was played by Rosa Salazar. Sorry, I'm using my notes to make sure that I got these people's names right, because she's not a well-known actress. At least she's not someone I've seen in a lot of stuff, and so she was someone I've never seen before. But her portrayal of that young person, and I'll just tell you right off the bat, she's dealing with memory loss. So how this film starts out is the doctor, you see this huge city in the sky, kind of over this destroyed city looking place down below. It's dumping stuff down into like a big junkyard area. The Sky City is. And there's a guy in a hat who we later find out is the doctor. He is wandering through this place looking for parts, looking for stuff. That's what he does. And it's Dr. Dyson Ido. And he's played by Christopher Waltz. Now, you may not recognize those names and stuff. He's not somebody I've seen in a lot of stuff, but he was Stavro Blofeld in the last James Bond film. So you'd recognize him from that. And he did a very good job in this film. In some respects, and in other respects, I don't think his character got the attention that it probably should have. I felt very much like, well, anyway, I'll continue along with the story here and kind of give you a brief overview. So he finds the upper part torso of a destroyed android, or cyborg, you could say, because it's the human part. Anyway, so he finds her, takes her home, puts her in a body, basically gives her a new body, rebuilds her, and then she wakes up in his home. You later come to find out that the body he puts her in was one he built for his daughter, who died before the body could be completed. His daughter was sick. Come to find out that him and his ex-wife are kind of refugees from Zana Flukidum. The city is one of the major problems for this, and me, the big Sky City, where it could have been another character in the film or even something more important. It could have been something just that played a bigger part of the story. And I mean, they talk about it all the time, but it's like you never really see it. You see it as you come in at the first shot, and then there's a couple other views, and then the only time you see it is you're looking at the underside of it from Alita and everybody on the ground's perspective. But you never really see inside the city. You never see what makes this city great. You just get told how great it is, and it looks great from the above shot you get of it, the one or two times you get to see it. But you still end up feeling like, okay, it's so great, but they don't show you anything of it. So it's hard to feel like, oh yeah, now I see why they want to go there. But that's the driving force for this whole film. Everybody on the ground is looking at the Sky City going, I wish I was there. And anyway, so he finds her, rebuilds her, and you kind of get the feeling like he's hiding something from her. Anyway, she's learning how to use her body again, and then within a very short amount of time, you get introduced to the love interest in this film, and his name is Hugo. He's played by Keen Johnson. And that's as much as you really need to know about him. He's one of my biggest problems with this film. He feels superfluous. Like, I don't understand why he's in the movie. He plays her love interest, but it's like he's this wishy-washy, kind of nobody character who ends up being a junk thief. He's kind of a wrong side of tracks kid, and he ends up trying to change his way because Alita's so great, and stuff, but like he's fine with being mediocre. Like he doesn't do anything. He doesn't try and defend Alita. I mean, he's like, wow, you've went and wrote a soy boy into this movie. And he was the problem that I had. Like he just kind of sits there and lets Alita do all the heavy lifting and work, and he helps her out like one time in the whole film. And then the rest of the time, he's just kind of a liability and a pain in the butt. And somebody, like I said, he's just a kind of a weakness in this film. The romance never feels really real. It feels kind of forced. It feels organic at first. And then after that, it just starts to feel like, I feel like I'm being forced to like this kid. And I didn't. He's a cute kid. I guess he's good looking enough, but and I can see why she might be attracted to him and stuff. And her reactions to him are very real, very believable, very I have teenage daughters, so I know exactly how they act when they like a boy. And she did that very well. Him, on the other hand, I mean, and it's not the worst performance in the world, but I just felt like this kid was just like, yeah, I'm going to like you because the director said so. Okay. It's anyway. So the relationship feels really off and very lopsided, and so I didn't really like that part of it. It's one of the main weaknesses in the film. So we also see Jennifer Connelly in this as the Dr. Ido's wife, Siren. Anyway, she's another character that I felt like was just in the movie to throw another character in there. I like Jennifer Connelly for the most part. She's a fairly good actress. I still remember her back from her early days of acting in The Labyrinth and stuff like that. So I can have a soft spot for her just because of the movies that she's been in before. But in this, she just kind of plays this superfluous character with dubious motivations. And I just felt like whenever they didn't know what else to do, they just picked her up and went, okay, you're in this scene, act. And that's what I felt like was going. Like I didn't feel like she was really invested in the character she was playing. Her motivations are kind of like, okay, they've lost a daughter, and she seems only obsessed with getting back up to Xanaflumidu, the city of whatever. And like I say, I don't even know the name of the city. I could go look it up for you, but like, it's not something I walked away from this film caring about. So that's why I just like, why? So that's the driving point for this whole story is everybody wants to get up to this city and nobody can. There's a character, and I'm going to read his name because I cannot pronounce this guy's name to save my life. It's Mahershala Ali. He plays the character of Vector. He's kind of like the main power guy for the ground city. Like he's the big fish, and he's kind of running things for the people up in the sky city, and he was really good in this. At first, I was just like, I couldn't really understand, but the longer the film went on, the more I liked his character, and the better I thought he did. There's these different scenes in there where his body gets taken over by the main bad guy up on the Sky City, and that's when I really noticed how good he was at acting, because he'd go from being one character and in the flip of a switch his eyes turn dark blue and all of a sudden he's playing a different character, and he did it really well. I mean, you believe he just got taken over by some other guy, and that's when I was just like, holy crap, this guy's good. I was really amazed at how well he did that. A lot of actors, it'd be like they're playing two different characters in the same body, but like you still feel like it's the same character. they're just trying to act. But no, it was like you could actually see his mannerisms change. His voice would alter. I mean, it was really, really well done. And kudos to him for his acting in this. Just a side note here, this Ali has just been cast to play the new Blade in the upcoming Blade Marvel movies. And so when I saw that and I realized, because they announced it the other day, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. And then when I realized it was the same guy from Alita Battle Angel, I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, that's awesome. That is going to be good. Because, I mean, you see Blade, and Wesley Snipes just is iconic in that role. And so it's hard to see anybody else doing that better. I think this guy is going to be able to do it just as good, if not better, than Wesley Snipes could. So anyway, that was a little detour there. But this guy did a really great job in this film. But Jennifer Connelly, her character seems superfluous. Like I said, and it just seems like she keeps appearing in scenes for no real reason. It felt like blocky. It pulled me out of the film whenever she showed up, because it was just like, why are you here now? Anyway, so that was kind of a hard thing. One of the main principal villains is also the villain from Deadpool. Ed Skrein is his name, and he plays Zapan. And he does okay in this, but seeing him and hearing him, I just kept thinking, am I watching Deadpool? Because he played almost the exact same character as he does in Deadpool. So other than he's a cyborg and he's mostly metal, and his character wasn't like the best. It wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad villain. He does a pretty good villain, but it just, like, I felt like he had just taken his character from that other movie, from Deadpool, and transferred it to this with a metal body. And so that one just was like, it was okay. So he kind of pulls the film down, and I don't think that's good. So anyway, and then there's a whole bunch of different people that play other cyborgs, and they're all called hunters. Anyway, the other character I want to focus on is the Dr. Ido. His character and the actor playing him could have done so much more. And his character felt like it was underutilized and kind of handled really foolishly. Because here's this guy, he can build these fantastic cyborg bodies. He can build all these things. He repairs all of the hunter people, the cyborgs that hunt down the other bad cyborgs, or just bad people in general, that are causing problems in Block City, which is what I called the Ground City. And yet, you find out he's sneaking out at night. Lead can't figure out what's going on. Finally, we figure out he is a hunter as well, because one of these cyborg bad people killed his daughter before he could cure her. And so he goes out, and the first time you really realize what he's doing, he has he has this case, and he puts together this, like, hammer looking thing with a long stick, and then it's got like a sharp thing sticking out at the end, and it's basically a rocket hammer stabbing thing, and that felt really goofy to me. So he's going out, and it looks like he's going to kill this woman. Come to find out, he was using her to get to someone who he thought was going to try and take her out. Turns out there's 3 of these things, and they're using the woman to lure him out and try and kill him. That's where you get introduced to one of the other villains in this. So you're going to see, and so I'm going to throw up some other pictures on the screen here so you can kind of see some of these other characters. The Zapan, he's the one on the opposite side from Jennifer Connelly. Then the Doctor, Alita, and Dr. Connelly. Anyway, there he is again. And so looks like the guy from Deadpool with a mohawk. Now the other bad guy is this goofball right here. I don't know what he was. To me, he was kind of a. I mean, he was a good thuggy kind of character, but it was just like, okay. He wasn't the best and stuff. The visuals and the machinery and stuff are really cool. But anyway, he plays one of these guys that's trying to kill the doctor. Anyway, and so he starts taking his hammer that's a rocket that stabs people, and he's trying to kill these cyborgs. And Alita's followed him, and the next thing you know, she jumps in and starts whooping butt. And you can tell in his face that the doctor, I think, even says something like, "I knew it." And anyway, so and she starts just wiping the floor with these other cyborg characters, and the fight scene is very good, very well done, looks amazing, but the whole time I'm sitting there going, why is the doctor using a rocket hammer blade thing? I don't understand what's happening right now. I don't. You can build cyborg bodies. You can build weapons. You can do all these great things, and you built a rocket hammer. You could build yourself an Iron Man type suit. You could build yourself weapons you're the one fixing all these cyborgs, building cyborg bodies. You can do all this stuff, and you build a rocket hammer. And his fighting is just like, you could tell it's just like, I don't think they trained him. I don't think they trained him how to do this. So I just felt like here's this great character that you could have really done a lot with and really brought some cool stuff into the film with, and he just gets underutilized, and gets basically thrown into the dad in the background character, and that's just kind of irritating, quite frankly. So the other part of this movie is that everybody's into this game. It's like roller ball derby thing. It's a violent sport where people get killed. Basically, you grab this ball, you try and run down a track and slam it into this hoop thing. And if you slam it in a hoop thing or you don't get killed, you win. Anyway, and it's a big deal because if you win this big tournament, well, you get to go up to Zanfanadum or whatever the Sky City's name is. And so Alita, and then the dad doctor guy's trying to lead Alita away from that, and she's trying to and then her boyfriend's like, "Oh, you'd be so good at this. I'm a bad influence on you. Let me show you how to do this." And anyway, the romance feels really kind of forced, and as I already said, and she gets involved in this rollerblade thing. The body there was one thing I really wish they'd have focused on. And we'll get back to the rollerball thing here in a second because it's another part that we need to talk about first. They find out that and the doctor finally admits to her that she is made of a rare technology that's a lost technology. Because there was a war on Earth. The United Colonies of Mars attacked Earth, trying to destroy these sky cities because there used to be a bunch of them, and the Xanafadum or whatever is the only one left. And anyway, you come to find out that Alita's technology comes from this United Colonies of Mars thing. Then they lost in the war. But it's just this. Anyway, her heart is this supposedly super powerful thing, and that's the main bad guy, like Hugo or whatever his name is up on Sky City, wants her heart. And so he starts sending people to try and kill her to get her heart. And then there's this secret fighting style that's been lost as well that she knows because it's in her head and stuff like that. And nobody ever talks about getting that out. They're like, kill her and get her heart. I'm like, but wouldn't you want to just destroy her body and get her head and as much of it as you can, because then you could probably learn this fighting style and become more powerful and blah, blah, blah. But you just want her heart. That didn't make sense to me either. But anyway, so so she ends up being drawn to this downshipped, and these kids that Hugo, her boyfriend, is a group of, or part of this group. They take her to this ship. She's able to get inside this enemy ship and finds, like I think they call it a berserker suit, which is the suit that really goes to her body, not the one she's been wearing. Anyway, they take it back to the doctor. The doctor's like, I'm not putting you in this. This body's just made for killing. Anyway, so she gets attacked in this hunter's place, and she's in there kicking everybody's butt because she's trying to get them off their complacency to go start trying to do something to, to end the tyranny that's going on and stuff. And this was really one of the funny parts of the movie. It's the only part that felt really, really organic to me. She's in there stirring up this trouble and basically poking the bear, as it were, and kind of making fun of Zamfir, that guy on the screen there, Mohawk boy, and then she gets into a fight with him, and then she starts fighting, and it causes like a barroom brawl, and everybody's like beating each other up, and the doctor runs in, and he's just like, hey, everybody stop it. Nobody listens. Everybody's just fighting and fighting, and all of a sudden he's just like looking around, and he just goes, no more free repairs, and everybody's just like, and stops. He's just like, what? Because they can't do what they do without him. And it's probably one of the funnier moments in the movie where you're just like, oh, they'll stop for that, And so anyway, I liked that part of the film. Anyway, while this is going on, the bad guy who she's had the dealings with before when he tried to kill the doctor shows up, and he's super powerful this time. They've upgraded him, and he's going after her and stuff like that. And anyway, she kind of whoops him again, but she kind of gets damaged severely in the process. The body that the doctor originally gave her is trashed. So he takes her back and then puts her in the body that he said, I'm never putting you in that because that's a weapon to kill people, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so she gets in this berserker suit, and then it's just like, whoa. I mean, it's like all of a sudden she's just like, yeah. And it's cool. It is actually a cool suit, and you get to watch it change to fit her. And anyway, it is kind of interesting. And but here we're back to, she starts trying to get into this rollerball thing now with this suit, and the guys upstairs have convinced all these guys in this match to go after her to try and kill her. So they take off, and they instantly all start trying to wipe her out and just take her out of the games and kill her. And she just wipes the floor with all of them, and it's kind of funny to watch. I mean, it's really kind of cool what they do, but she wipes them all out, and then the bad guy, the other Mohawk boy, he ends up stabbing her boyfriend. They think he's dead, and they make it look like he committed a murder so that they can kill him, and it's just this blah blah. Anyway, they're going on through all this stuff, and like I said, it's good, but it's just like, some of it's a little hard to follow, but really the part that bugs me is, so this Hugo is trying to, because that's his obsession, is to get up to Xanafadum or whatever it's called. And so he gets put in an android body, because all that's left of him is his head. He gets put in an android body, or into a cyborg body, and he takes off, and he's trying to climb one of these big cables to get up to the Sky City. And Alita tries to chase him down and grab him and tell him, no, you can't do this, you can't get up there. And she's gotten her memory back at this point, and she realizes that was her mission, was to try and to kill this one guy on the Sky City that's the cause of all these problems. And the doctor's wife, she's been trying to help this guy, and all of a sudden, like, she gets killed and her brain gets put in a bottle to be having experiments done on, which turns out to be the only way you can get up to Xanfadoom from this block city down below is in body parts. For this Hugo guy to do experiments on. It's just like, well, that's not creepy. But anyway, so he's trying to get up the city. She runs up the cable, tries to stop him, and they release one of these like chainsaw rings that come down the big cable, and tries to wipe him out. And of course, Dum Dum tries to jump over it, and he gets just sliced and diced. And Alita manages to miss it because she's got a more powerful body and heart and everything. And she reaches down and grabs him and stabs this sword into the side of the cable, and they're hanging there. And the guy's just like, I can't make it. And his arm's like breaking all apart. Anyway, he falls to his death, and she's realized everything that's going on, that this is the guy that's been causing the problems the whole time. This was the guy she was sent to kill, is up there in the Sky City. She's hanging on the cable by it with a sword. She's missed being killed by this dude. And what happens? It cuts away. And all of a sudden, she's back in the roller ring, and the announcer's going, well, we're here in the championship finals where whoever wins this gets to go to Xanfadoom. I'm like, how the hell did we get back to the roller bar thing? It just, it totally threw me. And not because it's like, oh, subverted my expectations. It was just like, that's nobody's expectations, ever. And so, like, she's in the locker room, she gets herself all ready, and she walks out, and she's standing on the platform and looking out over at the roller ring thing, and she looks up at the Sky City, and she points her sword up at the Sky City, and her blade lights up, and it's one of the pictures that you're seeing going through this scroll here, and it's like really cool visually. But here's my problem. The bad guy's up there. He controls the city. He is this horrible human being, and he's doing experiments on people. And you think, what? When you win the ball tournament, he's going to keep his word and let you up there. Yes, he might. In body parts. Did you miss that part when Vector tells people that he's going to go up there in body parts? That people get sent up there in body parts, and that's it. So why are you back competing in the games when you know the dude's up there that you've got to kill? And there's the picture right there. She's like pointing, I'm coming for you. I'm like, okay, Hollywood, listen. What you should have done was cut it right there while she's hanging on the cable. Look at me. Should have cut it while she was hanging on the cable. Have her boyfriend's just fallen that nobody's going to care about because he was a goofy character. She's hanging by this sword. She should have turned, looked up at the city, and just unbridled fury, rage, and determination on her face. Like, I'm coming for you. Or even say, I'm coming for you. Have a drone swoop in and look at her to see that she's still hanging on there, and look right into the camera and tell this bad guy that you're coming. And, and then done, and then cut the film. Print. Millions of dollars. Because going back to the roller ring and competing like that's going to get you up there was stupid. It was stupid. And it was like, oh, you just... So I really, like I said, the visual of her pointing the sword and looking like I'm coming for, it's just like that could have been done, and we didn't need to go back to the roller derby ring. That was just a goofy way to end that. Anyway, so those are the problems with it. There's some really great acting, some really great story here, but they just flubbed it in enough parts that it suffered because of it. Didn't do enough with the doctor. Jennifer Connelly's character. Shiren, they should have done something different with her, made her a more integral part of the story, and given her some kind of a better reason for being there, doing what she was doing, or it just didn't seem believable. It seemed forced, and they should have done more with the boyfriend other than just make him this weak little soy boy chasing around, hanging on to her coattails. That was obnoxious. So, E for effort on this one. 6.5 is all I can give you. But like I say, it's worth a watch. I don't think I'll buy this one, but it's definitely worth a watch. Just for the visuals and stuff of it. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we will talk to you next time. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time around. Still working on my Star Trek video for the motion picture. That will be the next video that will be coming out. Now that I'm home, I can actually focus in and really do some more production work to make that a better video. Each one of these I try and make just a little bit better than the last one. I've only been doing this for a few months, so I try and get better each time. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Get out there and have yourselves a great day, and we will talk to you next time.